I'm live, eventually. Here we go again. Just sitting about, nothing else to do with my time, so spread a little happiness. You know, there's I can imagine there's somebody who looks at the title of this, whatever it is, Reluctant Messiah, and it's kind of fun thing, really, but there is a serious point to it, you know. That basically a Messiah is just somebody who carries a message. And most of them are reluctant because most of them end up dead. Some of the famous ones we can think of immediately. So yeah, and there is a wonderful book by Richard, what's his name? From Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Richard Bach. And he wrote this lovely little book, it's only 100 pages or so, and it's about the reluctant Messiah. How the Messiah's fed up, he's done enough, and he goes about trying to recruit this guy. And it's quite an interesting little journey they have. So I recommend it. And I'm reluctant. I'm certainly seriously saddened by the need for this video. This video is to highlight the simple fact that after 26 years, I've come to the conclusion that AA is a dismal failure. Oh man, that's a heavy statement, isn't it? You know, I came into Alcoholics Anonymous 26 years ago. Didn't have a clue. I was 40 years of age with the mind of a child, but I didn't know that. And I didn't know. So that's cunning, baffling, and powerful. You get your head around that one. Took me a while. I didn't know. All right, fine. So it didn't happen. That's an interesting one, yeah. I forgot. And then I forgot that I'd forgotten. So it didn't happen. You apply that to situations with your wife when you come home drunk and you don't, and you fall asleep. You get up the next morning, the wife is reading the riot act and you're denying everything. And it gets to a point where she thinks, am I going to have to walk away from this guy or just concede that I'm off my head and that I'm making this up? And she forgets and he forgets. So it never happened. That's why these relationships last for so long and sadly do so much damage, because invariably they have children and they're the victims, as I was a victim, as both my wives were victims. And the only thing that changed that was me getting sober. Then I started to realise, whoa, so this is what was going on for me. So this is what's going on for her. And my previous wife, God bless her cotton socks, who was only a teenager when she married me. Still in touch with her. Kind of loosely in touch with her. Generally when she's drunk with her sister, and they phone me up drunk. It's quite funny. But I seriously empathise with both of them. And I seriously empathise with my second wife, but with one reservation. I will never forgive her for the damage she done my children. Never. And of course she'll be, I never done the damage, you done the damage. It's called denial, dear. You have to have a look at it. So, it's very sad. It's very sad indeed. So I reached to get a couple of batteries from my headphones. So I suppose the first thing to talk about is what exactly is the message of Alcoholics Anonymous? And I mean exactly. There is a solution. They wrote a book about it. To preserve the message, they done the sensible thing. They wrote a book to preserve the message. Because all sorts of weird and wonderful people were interpreting it their way. As alcoholics do. I suppose human beings do it as well. Yeah. I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, so I think this and I think that. Well, they had the wisdom to put it down in writing. So we've got the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And in that book is a solution. A book written by a bunch of ex-drunks who'd have screwed up a 2-car funeral, who'd have argued where to put a full stop. Wow. And they created this book. How long did it take them? Just over 11 months. Wow. Where did they get the money? I'm not exactly sure. They were pretty skinned. You know, bunch of ex-drunks, not a lot of money going about, but they managed to get it financed. And some of the articles, the historical articles where they met with the press, and that was a fascinating meeting with the press, and they met with other people and getting help and looking for promotions and stuff like that, yet still remaining anonymous and independent of. And just astonishing. And in this book, we've got chapter 1. Chapter 1. What difference does it really make which chapter? The first 3 chapters. I'm going to cut it short. I'm not going to go into every aspect of it. You've got a book. Well, hopefully you've got a book. If you've spotted mine, right along. Yeah, I know, I should have had it all done before. Yeah, I'm an amateur. Yes, I am an amateur. In this, as far as this stuff's concerned, I suppose it would be reasonable to consider me to be, open commas, expert, close commas. But here it is. The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. You can hardly even read the name. So anonymous. And in this book, they've put down the solution, as they understand it, to alcoholism. Starts off with Bill's story, which is perhaps a bit of ego on Bill's part. So it doesn't really matter. It's no different from yours or mine. In fact, I had a worse time than Bill. I had a worse time than Bill. He didn't suffer the poverty that I suffer from. He was a high class drunk, you know, which is fair. So we read Bill's story. If you need it, I mean, yeah, entirely. Yep, got you. Sorry, no problem. You're right. Right, fine. And have chapter 2. There is a solution. We of Alcoholics Anonymous know thousands of men and women who were once just as hopeless as Bill. Nearly all have recovered. They have solved the doubt problem. That's a huge statement, isn't it? Especially me as a newcomer reading that and thinking, my God, these guys will get a solution to my problem. Then I immediately go about tearing it apart, as alcoholics do. And why would anybody be bothered with? Why would anybody feel low self-esteem, low self-respect? It won't work for me. It won't work for you, but it won't work for me. Yeah. We have to wait for miracles. Well, that's okay. I'm out of here because miracles don't happen in my life, which they don't in any alcoholic's life. It's a dreadful thing to say. Don't leave before the miracle. But, you know, they have this situation where there is a solution. Good, they talk about the solution, that's fine, a whole chapter. Then you've got the next chapter, which is more about alcoholism. Good, have a read at that, see how you go with it. And then we go to chapter 4, the agnostics. Now here's an interesting paragraph, the first paragraph. It just shows you just how clever these people were. Hit it first time round. Well, mainly because nobody offered it enough, and because I was a child. I was an angry child. Yeah, I'd screw my face up and frighten people. Just and this is a fascinating paragraph. In the preceding chapters, 1, 2, 3, more about alcoholism than is a solution. Bill's story, which you can take or leave. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism. Yep. We hope we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic. So there you go, right from the beginning. We're trying to identify you. If you're a non-alcoholic, off you go. If you are an alcoholic, hang about. If when you only want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you're probably alcoholic. They never say you're definitely. They never say that. They never presume to say that. It's up to you to discover that. You're probably alcoholic from an illness which only will conquer. Spiritual experience that put God have to go and pray, or have to go and preaches, or chamomile, whatever, all this stuff. No. This. To one who feels he is an atheist or agnostic, such an experience seems impossible. But to continue as he is means disaster, especially if he is an alcoholic of the hopeless variety. To be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on a spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. So this is remarkable. They have identified the problem with the alcoholic. They've identified the alcoholic. Two simple questions. When you want to stop, can you? No. When you start, can you control the amount you drink? And my little add-on guarantee when you finish. And if your answers to both of those are no, then you're probably alcoholic and you will need help. Spiritual experience, whatever. I'm not going to knock it. These people seem to know what they're talking about. This then brings us to chapter 5, because we've taken up their invitation. If you want what we've got and you're willing to go to any lengths, then you're ready to take certain steps. Well, yeah, I want the solution. I want what you've got. And yeah, I'm willing to take certain steps. So how long is it going to take? Because alcoholics are really interested in how long things are going to take. If you read the book carefully, you will notice that it takes 2 days to take the first 9 steps, which means you have recovered to all intents and purposes, as long as you maintain your spiritual condition through steps 10 and 11. Oh, right. Nobody ever told me that. 18 months doing hundreds and hundreds of meters, and nobody ever told me that. Nobody ever even touched on this stuff. It's shocking business what's going on in AA. Why are they not talking about this? Why? When I want to stop, I can't, and when I start, I can't. Yeah, that's me. I never realised that. So that's the definition of an alcoholic. They don't even presume to define you as an alcoholic. All they say is you're probably alcoholic. Probably. It's your choice. It's your choice. Wow. It's just astonishing. How did they do it? How did they get it together? What was happening at that time? Yeah. Then go on to the next chapter, which is having made the invitation. If you want what we've got and you're willing to go to any lengths, then you're ready to take certain steps. First part of which is a personal house cleaning. You go to chapter 5 on how it works. They are page 59, they list the steps. Fair enough. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. Suggested, because they're not going to tell you, because they know what you're like. So they're being gentle and considerate and wise by putting it to this pig-headed, stubborn alcoholic, adult child, that we're only suggesting a bit, And they list these steps. They read them up so much at Alcoholics Anonymous that I'm sure alcoholics just think, oh, that's just part of it. Don't bother even listening to it. Because he's reading them out. They don't focus on them. Certainly not as they are in the book. The 12 and 12 is another problem. And it's not the program. Be fair to the 12 and 12, it actually states that. When you have a working knowledge of the original text, then you can use this book. In other words, when you've recovered, you can do whatever you bloody well like once you've recovered. And they're very aware of it. The wisdom involved in this is just astonishing. Step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. These steps are big stuff, aren't they? They are big stuff. Step 1, I'm powerless. Step 2, I need a power. Step 3, I make a decision to follow their path. So they're going to tell me what to do. They're going to instruct me what to do. Clear-cut, precise instructions. Remember that, Laurie? That's a wee arch enemy of mine. Lives on the East Coast and talks a load of rubbish. He's 36 years old. Fascinating. It's a book of instructions. So if you've taken up the invitation, then they will instruct you. And you'll be expected to follow the instructions. Unless you get fed up or whatever. Unless it takes too long in some people's cases. This is why they launch you out in a course of vigorous action. Because they know they've got a short time span with the alcoholic. Okay, fine. So we've got steps 1, 2, and 3. We've made the decision to follow their path and follow their instructions. Step 4, moral inventory. Looking for the truth. Listing all the people we resent. We're good at that. The cause, the part of me affected. I'll have a look at that part of me affected bit because I got a wee bit stuck with that actually. Hey, here it's here. Hold the right to the page. I'm resentful of Mr. Brown. His attention to my wife. Told my wife of my mistress. Brown may get my job at the office. This is the cause of your resentment. That's the second column. It affects my sex relations, self-esteem, yeah. Sex relations, self-esteem, fear. That's the second reason. Security, self-esteem, fear. Mrs. Jones, personal relations, self-esteem. So it's mainly self-esteem, security, fear. Pretty straightforward. And you just do the columns individually. I resent, just list all the names. The cause, list all the names. And the effects, the parts of you affected. If you do it across the way, by the time you get halfway down, you'll be back editing the first one because of the sixth one. And you'll end up in the mess and just scrunched it up, chucking it in the bin, as you know, and going for a drink. So this is why they've decided that. Just write down all the names, 5 lines gap. Yeah, for every one of them. You get 7 on your average A4 page paper. And that's it. You don't do nothing heavy. You don't have to get into any heavy story because you're going to discuss it with a man. So it's just little trigger words and sentences. All right, fine. You also do that with principles in life that you don't like, right? And institutions that you don't like. All right, okay, fine. I know what I am. I know rules in life that I don't like. Right. So having completed that, you have a discussion with a man. The man on page 18, wait a minute, forgot. Man on page 18, without whom little or nothing can be achieved. They're right in at the beginning with this. They know this is so important that this man is bang right there. But the ex-problem drinker, who has found this solution, who is properly armed with the facts about himself, can generally win the entire confidence of another alcoholic in a few hours. Until such an understanding is reached, little or nothing can be accomplished. So, properly armed with the facts about himself. How did they do that? From the steps. You want to know the facts about yourself? Do a step 4 or 5, even if you're not an alcoholic. You want to do the facts about yourself. If you think you're normal and everything, just do it and be honest, and you'll be surprised what you come up with. This is not just for alcoholics. God used that. God, as I understand God, which is not the Catholic God or the Quran or whatever, but I do believe in the Creator and an all-powerful influence. And I've had situations where I've recognised that, I'm pleased to say. So, God, as you understand God? All right, fine. Okay, well, I'm not going to argue anyway. Let's go on, mate. I'm in a hurry. Typical alcoholic. Look at his watch. So you've listed these 3 columns and you've got these people and institutions and whatever else it was. I always forget one. So far I'm doing all right. As far as my old memory goes. 66 I am. supposed to go into hospital yesterday for an operation, and they cancelled it. That took a program to overcome that. You'd be amazed how depressed I was and how badly I felt, and how I had to fight back. Using this program, I had a power that I could turn to. That would have sent me drinking. As soon as I heard it, I said, right, good, I'm off and see, and head straight for the pub. Start telling everybody in the pub, yeah, I was in that hospital, I was supposed to get, I was serious with my back, and now, and just drink it all away. Wow. Here I am, seriously disappointed, and I'm applying this program. I'm looking at things that I'm grateful for. Well, past, present, maybe even future, and hopefully future. And that battles it. I've been given this ammunition, which I never had before, through this program. Wow, it is dynamite. So I look at these names with a man, and we check out the reasons for my feeling resentful towards him, and we examine it, and he challenges it with us, because we're good at excuses, we're good at rationalising and justifying things, very good at it. And but this man knows the score. So you eventually realise, no point trying to kid this guy on. And it is really fascinating, truly fascinating. I advise anybody to try it. And at the end of it, basically what we've got is a list of people who I resent, and rightly so, and other people who've acted towards me for no reason. I resent them, obviously. But people who have reacted towards me, in other words, my behaviour has caused their reaction. I mean, any excuses for them, but if I hadn't said it or done it, it wouldn't have happened. I was the main focus in this resentful situation. Oh, right. So there's people who acted towards me because they're just sick people, and people who reacted towards me because of what I'd done to them. Oh, right. I have to try and pray for them, they say. Suppose there's this big one at this point, big and painful for me, and only necessary because of AA, with these so-called sponsors who I've not met many sponsors who know this program, but they presume to be sponsors. You know, the blind leading the blind, and the road to hell is paved with good intentions. None truer than Alcoholics Anonymous for those statements. The wee woman came to me, and she got upset when we came to this making amends to people. And she'd already noted in her step 5 that her father had sexually abused her as a child. And we came to that, you know, just a big discussion. It's a big, big topic. And I know it's going to be painful. So I put it to her. She said, well, so why are you so upset? She said, well, my sponsor told me that because I resented my father, my abuser, I would have to make amends to him. This isn't the first time I've heard this stuff. Unfortunately, I was in the situation where we're doing set 4. We were able to look at it. Don't talk about it in the AA, they don't like it. They don't like it. It's people on like that. So I pointed out to her, I said, well, what part did you play in it? Because nobody ever asked her this. He just told her you have to make amends to him because you resent him. Well, how can you make amends to him if you've not done nothing to him? This is the insanity of these people. And there's many of them. I've got huge experience in AA. Huge experience. Thus I'm doing this critique, I suppose. Dear God. Dear God. And I pointed out to this wee woman that he was talking complete and utter rubbish, and there's absolutely no reason why she should have to make amends to him. He's the one who has to make amends to you. So let's get rid of that. And she broke down in tears. And they weren't angry tears. Maybe it was tears of relief. Because she explained to me just what effect it had on her, this advice she got from this psychopath. and how it caused her to go back drinking again. Thankfully, she bumped into me. There you go. It's in the book. Not my opinion. Everything I say you'll find in the book. Everything I say is reinforced by the people who put this book together. Bunch of ex-drunks who have screwed up 2 calf funeral. Try to tell me there's no God. Inverted commas. Calm down, John. Calm down, John. I got upset about that one. And I got upset about how it would have affected me and certain people in my life. But we won't go into that because it's too upsetting. But the point is made. Stay away from sponsors. Simple. The man said to me, everything I ask you to do, you will find it in the book. It will not be my opinion. And if you find something that is my opinion, then just disregard it if you're not happy with it. It's pretty neat. Good. Fine. So step 4 revealed all that, and it revealed the people who acted towards me and reacted towards me. That's fine. And then we have to set aside the wrongs of others and rigorously looking for our part. We set aside the wrongs of others. Rigorously looking, I'm sure it says that. Yeah, referring to page 67, referring to our list again, putting out of our minds the wrongs others had done, we resolutely looked for our own mistakes. Where had we been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened? Though a situation had not been entirely our fault, we tried to disregard the other person involved entirely. Where were we to blame? The inventory was ours, nor the other man's or woman's. When we saw our faults, we placed them before us in black and white. We admitted our wrongs honestly and were willing to set these matters straight. Pretty cool. You'll never hear them talking about that today, Amy. Never. Shocking, shocking business. But this is part of step 5 as well, discussing it with a man. Discussing it with another person, another human being. And which is necessary and essential. And you've got all this information that you've now taken out of your head and put it down on paper to work from. There's no hiding place. Anyway. This book's in a bit of a mess. I'm afraid. Shameful mess. It's because it's well used. So there. So we discuss it with another person. And that helps us work out the people we need to make amends with. And we go to page 75, I think it is. Which is pretty neat as well. Yeah, to sum it all up, returning home after you've taken steps 4 and 5. This is all in one afternoon, or maybe morning and afternoon. Depends on how many resentments we've got. I had about 100. And that was pretty good. I took a young guy through the program. He had 220, and he still hadn't finished. I had to stop him, saying, "That's enough. Let's just move on. I think we've got more than enough there." First time it's ever happened, and it was only a young fella. God knows what happened to him. Hope he's all right. Hope he's all right. So, returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour, carefully reviewing what we have done. Steps 4 and 5. We thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know him better. Taking this book down from ourselves, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. Carefully reading the first 5 proposals. Steps? I didn't know what a proposal was. I had to ask man. It means steps, John. So why don't they just say that? Say, well, they just don't like repeating the same words all the time. All right, thanks. We ask if we have omitted anything, for we are building an arch through which we shall walk a free man at last. Is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? Yeah. And we really have to go back to that point about not knowing the difference between steps and proposals. If I'd just been reading it on my own, or if I didn't trust the man, I'd put the book down at that point. I would have put proposals. What's happening? They would have just bugged me, and it starts bugging me. Then you start getting upset and you start getting resentful. Just because I don't know what the word proposal means. And I don't have a dictionary, so I can't look it up. This is 26 years ago, and none of these clear options to me now would have come to me as a sick alcoholic or a child. You know, you're dealing with the child. So yeah, it's important. The man's important. He just, that's just their way, you know. They don't like repeat. It's just their way of right. But what it means is steps. Well, why couldn't I just bloody well said that? He says, yes, John, you're right. Never argued with me. Yep, you're right. So if we can answer to our satisfaction about the sand and cement and the arch and stuff like that, which is all very nice, we look at step 6. That's interesting. We look at it. What do you mean look at it? I've been to hundreds of meetings over an 18-month period, and I hear people talking about practicing the 12 steps. People who practice the 12 steps every day. As John Charlie gave an example, who I kind of recommend John Charlie. Kind of outgrown them, but at the time they were magic for me, you know. And John Charlie talked about, what did he talk about actually? We look at step 6. You've got the old timer. Oh, I've done battle. I've had a sober day, and I've done battle with alcoholism, and I fell into my bed exhausted. And Joe turned round and said to Charlie, "This guy needs a drink, Charlie." And the rooms are full of these Laurie over at Colchester. It's a book of suggestions, not a book of instructions. If you want what we've got, and you're willing to go to any lengths, and I quote, then you're ready to take certain steps. If you follow the clear-cut, precise instructions. Of course, I'm going to give you clear-cut, precise instructions. I don't want to confuse you. I'm going to make it as easy as possible. Clear-cut, precise instructions. So, ergo, it's a book of instructions. Laurie, I dedicate that one to you, Laurie. You're a very sick little man who causes a lot of problems in AA. You know, the type of person who causes the driver who doesn't look in his rearview mirror to see the chaos that he's caused. You know, that kind of thing. Until he bumps into somebody like me. And there's people like me are few and far between, so it's easy to rubbish people like me and put me down. Fair enough. Good choice. I'm only there to carry the message, and I do that accurately. You may not do it the way you like it. You may not like my Scottish accent. You may not like my skinhead hair, my summer hair. You may not like my sound of my voice. Scottish accent might bring up stuff for you. But that's okay, because somebody else will repeat it during the meeting anyway. So there's no escape if it's a healthy meeting. There's only one I know, Luton, Tuesday afternoon, 1 o'clock. If they're still doing it the way it was encouraged to do a few years back. I've not been back because of my back. So, there you go. And I'm now getting lost again. I'm wandering off again. And so yes, you don't practice step 6. You look at it. It's there in the book. We have emphasised willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God, higher power, remove from us all things which we have admitted are objectionable? Can he now take all of them? Every one. If we still cling to something, we will not let go. We ask God to help us be willing. All right. So there's certain things you're not too sure about. It's going to take a bit of time to go over that one. Somebody done a real nasty on you. And the wee woman being told to make amends to her abuser. That kind of stuff. They cover everything. When ready, we say something like this: My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. We have then completed step 7. This was written by a bunch of ex-drunks who have screwed up a 2-car funeral. How many times do I have to say this? Wow. Now we need more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. Yeah, I can get to that now. Very much so. Let's look. Once again, the word look. You're not practicing. Let's look at steps 8 and 9. We have a list of all persons we have harmed and to whom we are willing to make amends. Oh, do we now? Where'd that come from? We made it when we took inventory. Wow. So we did. Whom have I harmed? My mistake. Part at fault. Whom have I harmed? I've already got the list. Thank goodness. The less writing the better. Right. To whom we are willing to make amends. This is page 76. A really good page, page 76. Really good page. We subjected ourselves to a drastic self-appraisal, meaning what they've just done. We've subjected ourselves to a drastic. We've done that 3, 4, and 5. We go out to our fellows and repair the damage done in the past. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will, to live life on self-will, and run the show ourselves. If we haven't the will to do this, we ask until it comes. Step 7, prayer. Remember, it was agreed at the beginning we would go to any lengths for victory over alcohol. That's in italics. That means it's really important. Right, page 18. The ex-problem drinker has found this solution. That's in the italics as well. Very important. We'll get on with that. Yeah, we've got a few pages. They dedicate a few pages to this. And rightly so, but ultimately I had no problem. Yeah, I understand. I see where I've hurt these people, even if it's people I don't like. Nasty and spiteful. And I see that I had a part in that and I had to sort it. Wow. And they give you a few examples. Dedicate a few pages to this step 9. Let me get it dead right for you. Page 77 up to page 85, 86. Oh. It's page 80. This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory as opposed to moral inventory. Personal is just what's happening to you on a daily basis, like a diary. They do suggest that you write it out the way, well, it was suggested to me that as I've taken a moral inventory in step 4, that I write it out the same way, except now it's a personal inventory. All right. This is a big one, because after you've taken those first 9 steps, you're blown away. You think, wow, this is remarkable. It's such a buzz, and you're so inspired. And then they talk about continuing through step 10. And I think a lot of them, well, I know a lot don't come back to me with a step 10 because it hasn't happened. And I've taken hundreds of people through this program. And I think that they had the same problems I had, even though I've warned. I thought I'd cracked it after the first 9 steps. Step 10 wasn't really that important. And I remember saying to the man, I've not got time for this stuff, He says, John, you've plenty of time for drinking. All right. How to take your inventory with love. You've plenty of time for drinking, John. Eventually I got my head around the step 10 stuff and started doing it. I've got the folders full of stuff. Always ending in a gratitude list. Always ending in a gratitude list. It must have helped over the years. and building it up slowly but surely, building that arch or whatever, you know, and it happened so gradually that I didn't even take it in. It just became intuitive, which is another favourite point. Favourite word, intuitive. Favourite word in the whole book, intuitive. Or sentence. We will intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. And this is where we're at, because that's what I was getting mixed up with. So, page 83, bottom of. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, making amends, we'll be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness, which is true, because I've done it. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear, which it does. We will lose it. Pardon me. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. It's almost like poetry. Bunch of extras, screwed up 2 cars from them. This is what they're writing. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. Wow. I think it's got to be one of the best sentences in the book. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. These are what they call the promises, which start at page 83, the bottom of. Intuitively know. I loved it. I used to go to this meeting where they read out the promises, so that I could hear that. Intuitively know. Didn't know what intuitive meant, but it inspired me. I was in spirit, spiritual, inspired. I eventually found out what it meant, which was basically to just do things without thinking. Just do them automatically. Like riding a bike, you never forget it. Like driving your car, you just do things automatically. You don't think about it, because you've done it so often. So that's all it is. Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm going through a difficult time just now with a new neighbour. Naomi would be in the pub banging on the bar and complaining to everybody who wanted to listen to me. Probably somebody just like me. There's enough of them. But now I'm dealing with it. And I'm a lot more spiritual, perhaps. Are these extravagant promises we think not they are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly? They will always materialise if we work for them. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, depending on how you get on with taking these steps. This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along, so they won't build up again. That's cool. We vigorously commenced this way of living as we cleaned up the past. We have entered the world of the spirit. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime. Continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. When these crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. We discuss them with someone immediately and make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Love and tolerance of others is our code. So you go to meet and talk about this stuff. That's how you do it. Wow. That's fantastic, isn't it? Just fantastic. A bunch of extras because I put this stuff together. It just blows me away. Blows me away. Any business that doesn't take inventory will eventually go bust. If you don't know what's coming off your shelf, then you won't know to replace it and order the right stuff. People will come in looking for stuff and you've not got it because you haven't taken inventory. So you will lose business and you will eventually go bust. That's a fact. It's a truism. Any business that doesn't take inventory will go bust. It's the same way in our life. And this is step 10, the power of step 10. If I resent somebody, I write it down. I also list my fears to check how I'm getting on with them. And my sexual conduct. Yeah, it's cool. And it's remarkable. You're not running away from it, you're just facing it every day. Step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand God, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Sought through prayer, okay, prayer, and meditation. Oh, meditate, oh God, what's all that, you know, people chanting and bouncing up and down on mattresses and whatnot. That was my perception. Meditation, to meditate, to think deeply. Get a dictionary, by the way, it's really handy. Really handy. To think deeply. All right. Alcoholics are the best meditators, are they not? Because they think deeply about negatives. Yeah, they do, don't they? And they'll think deeply and negatively about anything, not understanding that what they're doing is building up a reason to go for a drink. Oh, I see. So through prayer and meditation, to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand God, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. It's remarkable, isn't it? It's truly remarkable. All you're doing is you thinking deeply about positive stuff now. The reality of life. Everybody is, you think, and then you feel, and then you respond to that feeling. Oh, how could you know that? Oh dear. Oh yes, I think. Then I feel. And I don't think it takes a feeling the way as a drink. Well, we've changed that around now because you've no excuses. You've taken the first 9 steps. You know your what is it they call it? Where you can verification of your own stuff and be your own judge. And I can't remember what the statement is. It's quite a powerful statement actually. And, I've got it on the tip of my tongue. Got it on the tip. Something about justification, rationalisation and justification. How kids are good at that, aren't they? Oh, I rationalise it, yeah. And that's why I went drinking. So that justifies it. Yeah, so yeah. When you're telling that to the sick woman you're living with and she's taking it in, you know, anything for a quiet life. Yeah, what about the children? What about the innocents? I was an innocent. And they wasted me. I know that, because it's step 4. And that's a simple fact. Simple fact. Wow. It's 25 years since I've done this stuff. And it never ceases to blow me away. Rationalisation and justification. As an alcoholic, all over the back, isn't it? Fantastic. So small and private business, step 11. As long as I'm doing my inventory stuff and all that, I can maybe use it, you know. And you become good at it. You become good at 10 and 11 on a daily basis. And it becomes intuitive. The promises. We will intuitively know how to handle things that used to baffle us. That's the situation I have just now with my, I don't know, it's hard to, you know, they do programs about this person, you know, the neighbour from hell. And shocking. Shocking how people can live their lives that way. And without considering others. Without considering others. I know where this stuff comes from. The more people who get this program, the better. Alcoholic or not alcoholic. So it leads to step 12. Having had the spiritual and inspirational, having had the spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we practice these principles and try to carry the message to the suffering alcoholic. That's lovely, isn't it? That's it. If you get any problems with it, make a comment, get in touch. I'll be more than happy. If maybe I've got something wrong, or maybe I've mispronounced something with my Scottish accent. But it all comes back to the one sad fact. The reason why I have to do this is because Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't do it. Alcoholics Anonymous should do it and doesn't do it. I go to meetings where I point it out to them. You're not here to sit and listen to you drinking. They have situations where they have a chair, where they basically give up half the meeting to this chair, whether they've got the program or not. And they blab on about the drinking and stuff like that. And then the rest is for open sharing with people who don't have a clue about the steps. And just talk about, typical alcoholics, freedom to talk. Well, yeah, right, and like the kid, try to shut the kid up. Right, okay, fine. Right. So you do that, then okay, they tend to get angry and upset and resentful. So, what's the solution to meetings? Well, AA recognised that in the late 50s, somebody wrote something which was, let me get this right. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the practice and teachings of the 12-step recovery program, is the sole purpose of an AA meeting. Nothing more, nothing less. Wow. The sole purpose. So all we should be talking about is the program and how we then use the program. Yes. So I don't talk about my drinking. What's the point of that? Everybody knows about drinking. Right. And to go into a meeting, sage that I am, and thinking that's nice. Hey, I like that. This is nice. Instead of listening to the regular BS, as they say. I don't think I've sworn. You have no right to do it. I run the risk of offending someone. The man told me. That sorted me out. Yeah. Another guy said, why do you smoke, man? Just a habit. He says, why don't you love yourself? Wait a minute, what's going on here? Why are you asking that? Well, we'll agree that smoking damages your health. Oh, yeah. So why would you do that to yourself if you loved yourself? And he left it at that. And I woke up the next morning and I stopped smoking 20 years ago. Just such a sensible thing to say. I'm damaging my health. Why would I do that to myself? Insane. Madness. But there they go. How easily people are led through advertising and such things. John Wayne smokes. Steve McQueen smokes. And he died of it as well. That's when so did John Wayne die of it as well. They don't talk about that, do they? Hugh Brenner, he done a video on his dying of smoking, which was kind of brave and inspirational. But isn't it insane? That's on it. You could use a program on that. You could use a program on the cigarette industry. Would I work for the cigarette industry? No. But I might have to, because it's the only job available and I've got a wife and children to take care of. There you go. There's a dilemma. There's a dilemma. So step 12 is pretty straightforward. Talk about your experience with the program. If you have no experience with the program, You won't be talking. So you won't get somebody who just blabs on about a load of rubbish, as I used to do when I first went into AA. It was a shocker. Just talking about this, talking about the wife, talking about the neighbours, they're standing next to how bad my life is. And they let me do it. It's fascinating the reaction when I started talking about the programme. They started calling me names. It's okay when I was waffling on in the usual sick way, but as soon as I started talking about the programme, what did they call me? A big book thumper. Yeah, this is an AA meet, and a big book is the main text. All right. Step Nazi. Now, that is truly shocking, isn't it? To use that word, Nazi. What it asks, of course, is, as a man said to me when I complained about it, he says, well, what programme are they practicing, John? And of course, I now know the programme, so I know the answer to that question. Wow. How sick can you get? How sick can they get? They've started banning people from meetings because they don't like what they're saying, even though it's accurate, perfectly accurate. Well, we don't like it now. Well, we're going to have a group conference. Are you going to invite the person you could now? We're going to have a group conference and we're going to ban them. And despite his spoiled brats, basically. Spoiled brats. Shocking people. Absolutely shocking. And, you know, there's lovely stuff in AA that helps you. We jealously guard the individual's right to have and to state their opinion. Yeah, because I want to know what your opinion is, so I can see if there's something in it that I can learn from, or something that we might be able to help you with. All right. So somebody goes up to them afterwards and says, well, I like what you had to say, that was really neat, thanks a lot. Or, you know what you were saying about it's not quite what AA is suggesting, and you know, maybe you could stick to the AA stuff because that's why we're here. And it confuses the situation. So maybe two people from your committee, you know, better than 1, 2, something, a bit of support. Because Kazalkis don't like having their inventory taken, even though it's taken with love, for those reasons. So yeah, then you go and highlight it to the person. Chances are they'll either get the message, as I did when the man pointed out to me about my swearing. You run the risk of offending someone. You've no right to do it. What right have you got to say that to me? And this is the guy I was going to ask to sponsor me. Beef. By the time I got home, and I was kind of, wow, my head was going, and I realised he was dead right. You know, cussing and swearing, how many people just walked away? How many nice people, who could have played an important part of my life, walked away as soon as they heard me cussing and swearing? Wow. Why are they not saying hello? Why she? Because you offended them the last time you were talking to them with your language. The Scottish swear words, some of them are a bit heavy. In England, you know. And I was going about doing that, and just offending, chasing people away, and people seeing me and turning their head away, and me wondering, well, what's going on there? And they're not going to challenge you because they're too frightened, because it's very aggressive. Swearing is very aggressive. Right? And it gives them an image of you as just being an idiot who doesn't care how he portrays himself, and somebody that you want to steer clear of. Damn. That's a shame. Yeah, it's regrettable. But there you go. If I get the chance to apologise to somebody in that position, which was impossible, because it was just my normal way of talking. It was intuitive. Negative stuff is intuitive as well as positive stuff, by the way. You know, I intuitively done this and I intuitively done that. Didn't even think about it. But now it's positive intuitively to do with it. Intuitively. You know what I mean? Give me a break. And I hope that somebody gets this, somebody hears it. I hope it helps. If it's only one person. I have had the privilege of taking many people through this program. And is, it's interesting. Spend 2 days with these people. Not one person. One guy bought me something. It was a Jewish thing. Because he was Jewish. And I remember that guy. He's a young fellow as well. He actually helped me out when my marriage fell apart. And my bank account was raided. And my telephone was about to get cut off. And I mentioned it at the meeting. And he came up to me after the meeting. He says, you come down to the house with me and sort out your telephone problem because you need your telephone. And he did it. It's 200 quid. We're going back 20 years. 20 years. And my horrible wee wife had built up all these debts. Because I foolishly left her with the card. She got the card. I didn't take any interest in it whatsoever. Just left her the freedom of it, thinking, well, that's nice. That was a big mistake. She didn't pay any of the bills. She had the whole thing planned. And very, very nasty, very spiteful. Her mother was dying. She was due to inherit possibly 100,000 quid, 120,000 quid. And I immediately gave her a reason to sabotage the relationship. And she done it. It's disgusting, really. But this is what happens with the sickness, the spiritual malady that not only alcoholics suffer from. And there's no point in telling them. But she upset the children, offended the children, because children are very righteous, aren't they? And Nicola was a very sharp wee kid. I remember Paul, an alky friend of mine, saying, I'm frightened to talk in front of a daughter of yours because she picks up on everything. She'd walk in the room, Paul would be saying something, she'd done it. When you said that, you should have done it. She was about 7, I think. Precocious child. But that was funny. But he was quite intimidated by her. Lovely stuff. And seeing nice memories. So, I'm getting distracted by third-party noise. Try and focus. Basically, I think that's everything. Everything I've said, you'll find in the book. And if you want to talk about any aspect of it, then just set up some dialogue. And if I've said something wrong or if I've misinterpreted something, I'll be interested. Always interested. As long as we do it in a civilized manner. And but the beauty of it is it's all in the book. The sadness is that AA does not do that. It does not fulfill its primary purpose. In fact, more than its sole purpose. The sole purpose of an AA meeting, through the practice and teachings of a 12-step recovery program, is the sole purpose. Not at all in this area, London, North London, heavily populated area, hundreds of meetings. I think there's about 600 meetings a week in this Greater London area. It's a lot of meetings. I seriously doubt you'll find one that sticks to this simple instruction. It's the sole purpose. Why did they have to say that? Because they started to realise that they were off doing their own thing. Treatment centres started coming in and making their money and advertising, and then people came out of treatment centres and started up meetings based on all that stuff and just screwed the whole thing up. And that was 60 years ago. So there's a lot of damage being done now. And you've got the snowflakes who don't like people saying things that they don't agree with, Like, most sponsors are sick people, stay away from them. And now they use the complaint, and now they've got the complaint system as well. It's like, what can I say? Dare I mention Muslims, where they put themselves up as victims. If you do something, don't say anything about the Muslims, will get upset. That's classic. Happening virtually every day. you'll find a Muslim complaining about how they're being treated, or how Allah has been misinterpreted. You know, and this is to do with my own perception and how I'm perceiving things now, as I would have done. I can illustrate how I'm perceiving the situation just now, and I go back to when I was an alcoholic and how I'd be perceiving it then. Pretty accurate stuff. But I know one thing's for sure. If Allah's a perfect man, if Muhammad's a perfect man, and I read what they're saying about how you treat people and me, I'm a dhimmi or a kafir or whatever. I'm a less than, I'm a second-class citizen. Unless you're a Muslim, you're a second-class citizen. And they're actually allowed to kill you as well, if you're gay. There you go, just chuck you over there. That's it. I mean, he might not be too keen on gays and stuff like that, but would you really want to throw them off a fucking roof? Would you really want to kill them for their beliefs? Sadly, that seems to be the case. You know? And if you're not a practicing Muslim, which would mean you were a psychopath, then why call yourself a Muslim? And I'm getting off the point here a wee bit, because it's the same for me. I was born a Catholic, but I don't practice Catholicism. It done no good to my mother and the poverty we lived in. And I feel very strongly about this kind of stuff. And people telling you what you should and shouldn't do. I don't call myself a Catholic. I believe in God. I love Jesus Christ. Wow. There's the little guy down in Speaker's Corner. I took a wander down with the children in sobriety. And this little guy was standing on and he had a placard, Christian atheism. So, well, I'd found out what an atheist meant because of the program. Well, what is an atheist? Somebody who has a belief, but they're not quite sure. Can't define it. Right, that's me. That's me. So I pointed it out and said, excuse me, but that doesn't seem to fit. Christian atheism, a contradiction. He says, yeah, I see that. But you see, the reason why is because I don't believe that there is an all-powerful God. I believe that Jesus Christ is a prophet. And that if I live my life according to Jesus Christ, I will have a good life. Wow. It's a remarkable statement. And it stuck with me, obviously, because that's basically word for word at the time, 20 odd years ago. I think that's worth mentioning as an example of sobriety. And also the idea of how can you practice a religion which is offensive and goes against the law. I'm getting off the point here. Maybe I should do a separate one about that. The program and the program versus the Quran. Oh, right, there you go. But I'm not going to be a member of a club that suggests that I kill people because they leave this religion of mine. No, I'm not going to believe that at all. I'm not going to believe that women have to do this and women have to do that. And no, I'm not going to believe that either. And in a sense, imagine if you took a Muslim through this program. Wow, he's in for an eye-opener, isn't he? And one that will do the world the good, I've no doubt at all. I have no doubt at all. But, you know, bottom line is, Allah and Muhammad and the Book of Instructions is vile and dangerous. And now I've said it, am I going to get a knock on my door? A little jihadi or something? Probably, you never know. Isn't it? And that's a fear. See, this is a fear. They put this fear into your mind. So don't say nothing. There's so many examples of that. Even in politics and politicians being compromised by it. You know, fear works. Frighten them. And I understand that now. I can speak my mind. Hopefully using a bit of wisdom, a bit of thought and a bit of consideration. If I get a rule of principles, if I've got principles I live by, they don't come from the Catholic Church, they don't come from the Bible, they don't come from the Quran. They come from this book, written by a bunch of extras who just screwed up two calves, and argued where to put full stops. Wow. It's just astonishing. And you recover. No, you're never recovered. No, you're always back. Yeah. No, you're not. You really got to read it carefully. But the only way to get these kind of awakenings is to do the steps. The awakenings in steps 4 and 5 are just astonishing. Astonishing. And then I can see it more clearly. Wow. So I'll continue to try and live along these lines, and I'm sorry I get off on that religious thing in the Quran and stuff like that. It does bother me. It's kind of personal note there, you know. But once again, as an alcoholic, I'd have spent made a night in the pub based on that thinking. That was the kind of thinking that really upset me. It really hurt me and made me feel bad. So I had to drink. Now I don't. I can sit down and I can constructively criticise it, and then wonder why politicians and other such people are frightened to do so. There's some good people on YouTube. There's some good people who say some positive stuff. Dr. Bill Warner. Yeah, I'd recommend Dr. Bill. He knows the history of it. And he puts it all together historically. He doesn't really care about Muhammad and the Quran and stuff like that. He doesn't get involved in it. He just talks about it in an intellectual way. And I like him. There's others I like. And it's good. YouTube is good. Because you get to sit here and talk all your rubbish. You might help one person. Isn't that nice? There's a lot of people walking about just now, I hope, who I took through this program accurately. But there's one thing I do know. All I can do is take them through the first 9 steps. That's all. And then you let them loose in the world with 10 and 11. It's absolutely wonderful. So I've helped hundreds of people get to that point. So I've given hundreds of people the option of 10 and 11, which will lead to 26 years later talking all this stuff on YouTube. I better get on with my problems in life, because I've got a few outstanding at the moment, which I've dealt. That's another thing. You used to leave them and put them off, and then the next day you would see it, oh, for God's sake. All of that stuff. I try not to do that. I'm not very good at it, but I understand where it's coming from now. And it's good if I can do something about it. I've done 2 things this morning, and which bring up a bit of resentment in me. Complain about people and service that you get. And I dealt with it, and it's gone. And it is a sick world in virtually every aspect, except the spiritual. Obviously, this stuff. There's a lot of sick people out there, and I understand why. There's a lot of politicians who are just liars. They're amoral. They don't consider morality. They do what they do. So you cannot possibly respect somebody like that, because there's something else going on. And I'm glad I know that. I'm glad I know what amoral means. It's a big word. It's a big word. And hey, I'm beginning to bore myself now. So I am going to end this stream. I think. I'm not sure how to pause it. It'd be handy if I could pause it. What does that mean? Does that mean anything? Oops. Oh, I can share it with other people on Twitter. Well, could you? I wonder. That's interesting. Facebook, I scrubbed them. Complete rubbish. Complete rubbish. A new tab. I've got a new tab called Oath Holdings Inc. USA. Oath. Before you continue and update with us. Right, I'll log in to my account. I've not used this account for years. Ronnie O'Sullivan liked something I said on Twitter. Yeah, he liked it. There you go. The greatest snooker player. There you go. The greatest snooker player on the planet, bar none. I've met him as well. What's this? Oh, I've got to put my email thing in here. Had I known how to pause this, I would have paused it, not put you through the sound effects. Ponytails 53.